I think we're live. Cool.
Live,
We're
live, brother.
live. Welcome everybody to what is this? Peak Prosper?
What is that, dude?
What?
I'm just drinking a tea right here. This is a lemon ginger with probiotics. There's definitely no probiotics in it, but it got me on the marketing for sure.
Well, they probably had a good purpose behind making that tea.
Purpose, yeah, dude. That's a good. That's probably a good intro to today for sure.
Oh man, this is gonna be fun. We're gonna talk about purpose, or the driving energy behind why we do things.
Yeah, Scott, let's kick it, man. Lead us off, and let's go in. Yeah, go for it.
Cool. So, Mike, I think we first start with sharing a couple of personal stories.
Yeah.
And I left the corporate world years ago. Worked in this marketing agency, and had a very wonderful position in that company. I left because I wanted to go start my own business, because I felt like that was what I was destined to do with my life. And after about 6 months, I went into this deep scarcity, sense of depression. I wasn't generating cash flow. And so I did what I knew. I went back and I got another corporate job. And I thought, well, I want to be connected to outdoors people who are adventurous. And I want to go work at Dakine. They make backpacks. It's this world renowned brand. So I went and I worked at Dakine. I was at Dakine for 6 months. Those 6 months were the most soul crushing experience of my whole life.
Why?
I got a steady paycheck. I had health benefits. I went to this consistent 9 to 5, but I felt like the work that I was doing didn't matter. At least it didn't matter to me. And I think that when I reflect back on this, one of the underlying causes of this whole thing, I knew what I wanted. What I wanted was financial stability, which is kind of why I went to the corporate job again. But that wasn't really why I went to the job. Like, I didn't really know why I wanted to be a part of this business, this corporate world again, which inevitably led to feeling like my soul was crushed. So,
Yeah, it's go ahead, Scott. I was gonna ask you a question. Is like when you were at that point when you feel like your soul was getting crushed, like how is that showing up in your world?
oh man, just negatively affecting every aspect of my life. Like whenever I feel like I'm doing meaningless menial work, it has a negative effect on my whole life, because my energy is not one of passion and joy. And I feel like I'm drinking from a cup that's half empty instead of half full.
Yeah.
See, what I went and did is I basically implemented this second bullet point. I took action with no clear purpose behind that action other than to just get a paycheck. And that's okay, because I understand needs have to be met. But at some point, that's not enough for us to feel like we matter on this planet. So, Mike, I'd love to talk a little bit about starting with why. And I think that a lot of people hear this: go find your purpose, find your passion, find your why, find your thing that brings you to life. But they get lost on that adventure because they didn't actually start with what. They didn't know what they wanted. You know what I'm talking about there?
Yeah, it's the number one reason most people don't get what they want is because they don't know what they want, right? People are like, oh, I don't get what I want out of life. Well, what do you really want? And I think that's the most fundamental question about, for yourself as you move forward as a man in this world. Like, what do you really want out of life? And I think a lot of us, we immediately, oh, I don't know. There's two responses. And well, there's three responses, and there's three different types of guys. There's the guy who has no clue what he wants, right? So he feels completely lost, stuck, confused. The other guy says, yeah, well, I know what I want, but he's going through this up and down yo-yo pattern of life where he feels like he makes some growth and he crashes back down, and he makes some growth and he crashes back down, not able to smash through that plateau, keeps getting the same results, keeps seeing the same patterns over and over. But he'll tell you that he knows what he wants, yet he doesn't have it clearly defined. He doesn't know his core emotional driver. The third guy is crushing it in life. He's got thriving relationships, optimal health. He's got mental clarity. He's focused. He's determined. Why? Because, yeah, he knows what he wants. He knows what his deep purpose is, but he knows the emotional driver behind that, and he has it clearly defined. It's something that he's working towards every day. Like it's really fixed in his mind. And so these are the three different types of guys. And so for whoever's watching this video right now, you can say to yourself, well, after Mike describes that, I know where I'm at. You have to define what you really want, even if it makes you feel uncomfortable. It should make you feel uncomfortable because you're expanding your thinking. You're expanding your thinking deeper than what you're thinking about right now. I mean, if you step back for a second and realize that the results that you're getting in your life is nothing more than just your level of thinking, that will change your life. Like, challenge yourself to think bigger here.
And guys, those listening here, we have a video in the guide section of this Facebook group that will help you really define what exactly you want.
So powerful. Go do that. If you don't know, or you haven't defined it, even if you think you know, right? Even if you think that you really know what you want, go to that resource and just define it. It will be so powerful to put that into action.
So, Mike, you talk about guys who make some progress and then they fall back. They make some progress and then they fall back. And I'm thinking about self-sabotage. Really,
yeah, it's exactly what it is.
That's what's coming up when you say that to me. And this happens when we pick something that we want. We know what we want, but we don't know why. Maybe somebody says, go try some new hobbies, or go read a new book, or go try a new career, but we don't really know why, what the underlying driver is for that. So we try a new job, that doesn't work for us. So we go back, we try another job, that doesn't work for us. Maybe we try to read a book, that doesn't work for us. We just keep trying these new things, yo-yoing up and down, never really making progress toward exactly what we want. But when
I'll tell you exactly why that happens, though, Scott. It's because people aren't listening to themselves. They're listening to what everyone else is telling them to do. So society has told you that, you should go get a good job with good benefits. That's what our parents have told us for years and years and years. Go to school, get a good job, get good benefits, get all that. Just like when you mentioned here, you went back into the corporate world and you had a great job with great benefits and you were miserable. I was working as a server in Jackson Hole. I thought that was the ideal job as a skier and as a climber, working 5 to 6 hours a day, making $300 a night, working 4 to 5 days a week, climbing in the Tetons, skiing in the Tetons every day, could wake up when I want, go ski. I skied over 120 days my first season. Thought that was the dream. I was miserable because I was doing meaningless bullshit, right? And human beings, we have evolved over a sense of meaning and belonging for thousands of years. You can't undo that. And so a lot of the modern struggle now is we have these cell phones and we have this technology that is constantly telling us how you should think, how you should act, what you should believe. But this is where we feel that disconnection, because inside, intuitively, our heart is screaming out for something different.
I think that what we're really screaming for is this sense of meaning, and that what we're doing with our life matters. I get such fulfillment out of seeing people get massive results in our programs. And that brings me this internal sense, like a feeling, an emotional feeling of purpose and meaning. Like what I'm doing really matters. And that's because this is all happening because I took the time to define my why in this world, why I do what I do.
Yep.
And that though couldn't really manifest until I knew what it was that I wanted to do.
Yeah. And so let's talk about that for a second, right, Scott? Like you're saying I defined what I wanted and then it manifested. And I think a lot of the problem that a lot of guys run into when they're thinking about their purpose is that they're thinking about it something that one, it's like finite, like I found it, this is it, right? This is it, the holy grail. My life is figured out. No, your purpose evolves. Why? Because life evolves. We're a part of this evolving planet. Things are always changing. And so we think that it's going to be something that's fixed, black and white. You can't go to school like and figure out what there's no like purpose 101 class where you like take a test and all of a sudden, oh, this is my purpose, right? And so recognizing that it's always changing. And I think another thing to think about too with purpose is that it should scare you, right? Like a lot of us think that, oh, I figured out my purpose. Yeah, celebration. It's like, actually, this is where the work begins because it's going to require you to take new actions. Sometimes it's going to require you to quit your job. I mean, dude, look at Vince, who just joined our transformation program a week and a half ago. He's on the verge of literally quitting his toxic job.
And moving to Florida.
To Florida, right? Yeah. That's not like, yay. It's like actually like, oh God, like things are changing for me. And so the key for you is that you listen to your heart and don't resist the fear that comes up. That's the key thing, because to follow your purpose always requires courage, always.
I think another important thing is to understand that we live multi-purpose lives. And when I say that, I mean that the purpose, the underlying motivational driver for me to do my work beyond just a paycheck, because I know through my experience that brings me to a sense of soul crushing, is different than my motivational drive to have a healthy relationship with my wife. It's different. So when we look at life, I don't believe in mono purpose, meaning that I find my life purpose is this one thing. I actually think that we find our multi-purposed life through the journey of discovering and the journey of becoming these things that align with the vision. That, again, if you haven't taken the time to clearly define what it is that you want, our purpose is created through clearly defining these different things that we want in our life.
Yeah. Amen. That's so well said. I mean, that is probably one of the biggest takeaways of this entire live here today. And I think, Scott, going back to, well, just kind of doubling down on what you just said, I think, a lot of guys, we kind of grow up, it's just it's kind of the way of our thinking, right? Like we see it in this like black and white, right, wrong, like left, right type of thinking. And that type of thinking is keeping you where you're at because you're seeing things as an either or, right? And so if you can kind of break out of that and allow yourself to just see, rather than like this or this, thinking about it more of like as a web of possibilities, things will just open up for you. We get so resistant in thinking that it's either got to be this way or this way, right? But there's actually thousands of ways. Like school has literally programmed people to think that there's one right answer. But in real life, there are multiple right answers. Like, and as Scott and I learn in business, for one example, like, there's not like one method of scaling your business. There are thousands of methods that work for thousands of different entrepreneurs and companies. So I think that it's the same thing with your path in life, is that there's not one right path. And if it was, everyone would be happy. And clearly everyone isn't, right? There is an unlimited amount of paths and journeys that you can take, and have to recognize that you and your journey is unique to you and you alone.
Mike, I'd like to just kind of touch on one final thing today and kind of bring our whole conversation together and talk about purpose as energy. Because I think that, in fact, I know that what happens, one of the underlying causes of self-sabotage, the reason that people sabotage themselves when they start to build some progress, is because the going gets tough. And I just want to talk about purpose as energy. So let's just say, like, this is my light bulb moment. This is this exciting idea that I want to turn into a reality, whatever it might be, a business, a new relationship with a girl. I want to go move to Costa Rica. I want to go on a trek in the French Alps, whatever the exciting idea might be. Now, if I take this idea and I just run with it, I just go start taking massive action. They say just go take massive action. And I don't actually take the time to maybe ask myself if this is what I really want and why I want it. So my idea is what, but the energy, the E factor is the why. Most people don't ask this before they go start taking massive action. And
Yeah.
and when they hit some roadblock, whatever it might be, maybe it's COVID, the borders close and I can't go to Europe. Maybe my business doesn't perform such that I can go travel the world like I wanted to. Whatever it might be, when this challenging thing happens, oftentimes what will happen with somebody who's stuck in a self-sabotage cycle, they don't have a powerful enough why to back up what it is they're doing, and they'll just say, it's not going to work for me.
Yeah.
It's not going to work out for me. Instead of being so definitely committed to this, they can default back to that energy center that's necessary to propel through whatever roadblock they might be experiencing. To, like you said, start looking for some different solutions to the same problem.
Yeah.
And actually getting to where they want to be.
That's it. I'm very well said. Totally.
So
There's a solution out there to every problem.
do you have any final comments today about today's topic, Mike?
I would just reiterate what you were saying earlier, that if you're a guy that you feel completely stuck or lost, or you're just lacking that clarity, or you're a guy that you kind of know what you want, but you keep falling back into the same patterns, you know that you're not really tapping into your full potential, and yeah, you're thinking in the back of your head, yeah, I know what I want, but just go do that exercise. Go do that defining your dream life exercise. It will really force you to define very clearly what you do want, and then also force you to take some action steps. So yeah, guys, hope you guys got tremendous value out of this video today.
Yeah, that's it for today, guys. Please share some of your comments in regards to what your takeaways were today.
Yeah.
And we'll drop a link to that video that we referenced a couple times in today's live video. So have a great day. Peace.
Lemon ginger probiotics.